Hey, what's up, everybody? So, we have some new information about the product limits for the next in the women's quarter series, which is going to be Wilma Mankiller. We're going to take a look at that in just a moment. But I did get a heads up sometime last night in the comment section of my video from yesterday from Gold Aztec about the fact that the United States Mint has put product limits on these quarters. But before we get to that, what a day it was yesterday. It was something else watching the drop for the Dr. Sally Ride quarters because every option was gone within 2 minutes. Now, we kind of knew that was already going to happen only because the Mint had already told us that most of these were gone via enrollments. In fact, they said due to overwhelming demand, the full production of the 100 coin bags, the P, the D, and the S rolls are all accounted for through enrollments. However, there was a few, very few, that was available during the drop yesterday when the Mint released these at noon Eastern Standard Time. But I believe it was like just a couple of seconds where the P, D, and S rolls were gone. I believe there was 77 that was available. The P and D rolls were gone pretty quickly as well, and so were the 100 coin bags. Every option was gone within 2 minutes. Now, we had product limits. During the first release of the Maya Angelou, we had no listed product limits. For the Sally Ride, they actually added product limits but no household order limits. However, if you were in the enrollments and if you had more than 5 of the enrollment for any of these, they likely dropped you down to 5. So there actually was a household order limit, even though it was not noted on here. These product limits are pretty important for what we're about to look at with the next release coming up. The 100 coin bags, 1,860 for the product limit. The 2 coin roll set P and D, 5,940, and the PDS roll set is 7,620. Now, also keep in mind, when the United States Mint publishes sales for these, they tend to be a tad bit lower than the product limit due to, failed credit card transactions, whatever the case may be, returns that they don't resell. So the sales seem to be a little bit lower almost every time, maybe not 100% of the time, but almost every time. It's usually a tad bit less than the listed mintage limit or product limit for pretty much almost every release. So it'll be interesting to see when the details come out as far as the sales figures in the upcoming weeks, what the sales are going to look like for these. But I am assuming that it's going to be pretty darn close to the product limits. Will probably be off by at least a couple. To the next release, Wilma Mankiller. Let's go take a look. All right, so we are on the American Women Quarters program, and we're looking at the enrollments down here, and this is where you're going to be able to see the product limits for Wilma Mankiller. So if we go ahead and click on this, you will see that the product limit is 5,830 for the P&D, which seems to be about 110 less than the product limit that was for Dr. Sally Ride. Now, I got to give a big shout out to Gold Aztec for giving me a heads up about this, and I believe Son of a Silver Stacker also did a video on this as well this morning. Shout out to Gold Aztec for bringing this to my attention, and I believe Gold Aztec also brought this to the attention of Son of a Silver Stacker as well. So there we go, 5,830 for the P and D roll. Well, what about the PDNS? Because let's face it, that's the one that a lot of us are in the enrollments for. And oh, by the way, if you're not in the enrollment already, chances are you're going to have a very hard time, in my opinion, getting these unless the United States Mint decides to decrease enrollments for people again. because remember, the day before the Sally Ride quarters went on sale, the United States Mint sent emails to pretty much everybody who had more enrollments than 5, and everybody who had 10, 15, 20, they reduced it down to 5. Now, unless they reduce these again from 5 to something lower, there's probably not going to be any or very few available on drop day. But as you can see, the product limit for the PD&S rolls, 7,504. And if we go back to the Sally Ride, that product limit was 7,620. So it's about 116 less. And once again, in my opinion, if you're not already in the enrollments, if you weren't in the enrollments already for Sally Ride, then since we're getting lower product limits, then you're probably not going to have much of a chance on release day. And by the way, as far as release day, they don't have a date on here for the release. However, what I am seeing is the fact that there still is not a household order limit. Now, I'm expecting, since the product limits are being reduced, I'm expecting there to be some sort of a household order limit. I don't know. I'm hoping that the United States Mint actually post what the household order limit is and not just tell everybody the day before in an email, but who knows what they're going to do. I'm expecting there to be a household order limit, and I just hope that it's actually listed on here what the household order limit is, if there is actually going to be one. Now, with the product limit being 7,504, that would mean the mintage of the S roll, the S coins, would have a total of, let me bring this down here. If they sold all 7,504, then that would mean that the S minted coins would have a mintage of 300,160. And for a quarter, be it as it may, uncirculated, these are not circulated coins, but they are uncirculated, but that's still, for a quarter, that's a unbelievably, in my opinion, low mintage, 300,160. And if you go back to the ATB series, and if you look at the American Samoa and the Tuskegee Airmen, those are way over 300,000, and those are going for a ton on the secondary market, and these are way lower, and who knows, maybe these will be hoarded even more. If you go to eBay and if you even try to find PD&S rolls, there's some there is some. They're about $300 to $400 for a PD&S roll, but there's not many. There's a lot more if you want to buy the single coins, the PD&S quarters, as just a 3-coin set, but that means a lot of people are breaking these sets open to do that. But I am not seeing a ton of PD&S rolls for the Tuskegee Airmen or the American Samoa. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the product limits. Oh, I forgot to show you the product limit for the 100 coin bags, and here's the Philadelphia, and we're 1,737, which is lower than what the Sally Ride was, and the Sally Ride was 1,860, and this one is 1,737. So everything across the board a little bit lower. And once again, still not showing any household order limits, but I am expecting that there is going to be a household order limit of at least five, if they don't reduce that even more. I just hope, like I said, I hope they actually notate it on here as to what the limits are going to be. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I appreciate everybody for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will talk to everybody on my next video. Thanks a lot, everyone.